It is week 12 of the NHL season, and even though it's the holidays, it seems like everyone is ready to tear each other apart. Tempers around the league are getting hot. Teams are at each other's throats. Coaches are calling out the refs. Others are getting fired. The best player in the league is locking the hell in, and one of the most pathetic franchises in the last 2 decades has suddenly become the hottest team in the league. Ladies and gentlemen, the NHL season is absolutely buzzing going into the new year, so let's cover what really happened in week 12. Now let's dive right in with the Red Wings and Caps. We're going to jump in during OT here, 2-2. Watch Mo Seider come down the chimney here like Santa and absolutely bomb one down the fairway for the OT winner. Let's talk about the Red Wings here for a second. It's been some dark years, but they look like they're finally putting it together. That win has them first in the Atlantic. Mo Seider himself is putting together a Norris caliber season, and Hockeytown has its best chance it's had in years in making the playoffs. Now, speaking of Norris candidates, let's go to the Central Division showdown between the league best Avalanche and the third place Wild, who are on a 7-game winning streak. Hughes versus McCarr. This could potentially be a playoff matchup, but as good as the Wild have been, the Avs are just a machine. The big boys come out to play. McKinnon gets a couple himself. He's already got 30 on the season, and Colorado shows firsthand that there's levels here. 5-1 win. The Wild have joined the big boys, but these are the types of games that just let them know that they might still need to add in order to be considered a true contender in the West. Then it's on to the Devils and Sabres. Buffalo, 5-game win streak. HDTV was a new invention last time that happened, so that's exciting, but even more exciting is the Devils getting back Jack Hughes. Hide your steak knives, ladies and gentlemen. He comes down and high steps right out of the gate by scoring in his first game back. That's gotta feel good. However, the Sabres are randomly a wagon right now. It started with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and UPL same day delivery with a huge performance, stopping 26 of 27 shots. Sabres score 3 straight and win their 6th in a row. Get these guys in the dance. Another team that is buzzing right now is the Sens. They spanked the Bruins 6-2. Zetterlund, Cousins, and Bed Batherson and beyond, all 3-point nights. Cookie night was that good. It's their 4th win in a row. The Atlantic is a mess. There's only 3 points separating 3rd place and 7th place in that division. Then we have history in Pittsburgh. Sid takes a clap bomb, the rebound is tapped in, and that assist means that Sidney Crosby records his 1,724th point as a Penguin and passes Mario Lemieux as the all-time franchise leader in points. The kid becomes the king. Penguins end their 8-game losing streak to boot and beat Montreal 4-3 in a shootout. Now, just when it seems like the Rangers take a step forward, they take another 2 steps back. Preds beat them in a tight 2-1 game. Nashville is showing some spark here. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and after a disaster start, they're only 5 points out of a playoff spot. The Jets, however, are in one. They almost handed Utah with the choke of the day. The 3-0 comeback was all for naught as Utah wins it in OT, and Winnipeg has now only won 1 game in their last 8. Let's stay on the disasters here. The noise around the Toronto Maple Leafs are at an all-time high. The coach is seemingly on the hot seat. They're in the bottom of the East, and they got Dallas. But this is one of the rare times Toronto actually somewhat outplayed their opponent. Shots were 28-21, but the Leafs' top dogs have gone completely cold turkey. Only 1 goal in this game. Stars win 5-1. The post-game quotes have been just juicy out of Toronto. Nylander came up post-game and said afterwards that he doesn't know if he's ever felt like this during a season before. Yeah, that's no bueno. Seems like it's a ticking time bomb waiting in Toronto. Then finally, we go to the Oilers and Golden Knights, where Edmonton got some brutal news before the game that Tristan Jarry is injured for the next few weeks. So they traded Skinner and a couple of other pieces just to end up right back at square one in the crease. But they call up Connor Ingram, who hasn't played since February, and he did a good job. But fortunately, they also have Connor McDavid. McJesus has fully risen here. This man is on an unbelievable tear right now. He's got 23 goals in his last 20 games. Are you kidding me? 3-point night for him. That's like a day off for the guy. The Oilers win 4-3 with McDavid now leading the league in points with 62. Now on to Monday, we got the Canucks and Flyers. Coach Rick Tocchet's first game back against his old team. How about this little cheeky bat-in play by Dvorak? Off the boards, picks it out of the air and into the net. They call that a good goal, thank you very much. And Darth the Damn Vladar continues to be the chosen one for Philly's net. He stops 23 of 25 shots, and the Flyers take it 5-2 to hand Vancouver. Their first L since trading Quinn Hughes. They can finally get back to tanking. Now, side note going into this Christmas break, what a year it's been so far for the Flyers. They sit second in the Metro as of right now. Despite being expected to be a lottery team at the beginning of the year, they are surpassing all expectations. So is Tampa's defenseman Darren Radish. No, that's not something you have with your stake. That is the emerging D-man on the Tampa Bay Lightning. Thanks to injuries, he's picked up another goal and 2 assists. He is having a breakout year right now. He's got 27 points in 30 games as a D-man. Tampa wins their second in a row to stay near the top of the Atlantic. Let's go to Anaheim, where Seattle's in town. The boys were getting testy in this one. You got guys losing their shit on the bench. Brawls started breaking out, and everyone's trying to ruin Christmas, but let's just settle down here. Jordan Eberle says, I'm just going to take care of business. He scores 2 goals in this one. Seems like this guy's always clutch right around World Junior time. Seattle still stinks, but they find a way to win this one 3-1. Meanwhile, it looks like the Marchment trade has been paying off for Columbus. This guy leaves Seattle and goes on a tear. He's got a pair against the Kings. That's now 3 goals in 2 games for him as the Jackets win this one 3-1. It's been a tough year for Columbus. I think a lot of people had them being way more competitive than 8th in the Metro, but it's been one of those seasons where they've had no traction despite just falling short of a playoff spot last year. But hey, at least that win puts them ahead of the Leafs for last place in the East. Now, before we hop into Tuesday's games, today's recap is brought to you by SeatGeek. 2026 is a few days away, which means it is officially a World Cup year, and you can get World Cup tickets right now on SeatGeek, the #1 rated ticketing app with over 28 million downloads. There's more than 70,000 listed events from sports, concerts, to festivals, and more. The way it works is simple. You browse seating on a scale of 1 to 10, look for the green, which indicates the best deals, and voila, you've got yourself the best deal on tickets. You see me at these things. I've been doing it for years with Leaf games, using the app to find some killer last-minute deals, and right now, you can do the same by using code HOCKEY2025 to get 10% off your next pair of tickets. Just hit the link in the description to download the app, and it'll automatically apply the code to your account, so you're ready the next time you find a deal. So if you want a seat as good as this one for a damn good deal, get on the app and get looking. It's 100% worth it. Once again, big thanks to SeatGeek for sponsoring these weekly recaps. Now let's get into Tuesday's games. Now let's go to Christmas Eve, Festivus, baby, and boy, are we jolly in Toronto. Things are going swell in Leafland. Power play is dead last. All kinds of noise surrounding the coach's job, but they throw a curveball and fire the assistant coach, Mark Savard, 2 days before Christmas. There you go, MLSC says enjoy the holidays, pal. However, they got the Penguins. We go to this one all tied, and then Max Domi chooses to go coast to coast, butter and toast. Oh, that is slick. Potential SeatGeek goal of the week right there. That is the game winner. Nylander had a huge 4-point game. Matthews, on the other hand, went pointless for the 4th game in a row. The last time that happened was 2018, so I'm sure everything is fine there in Leafland now that they got a win. On to the Stars and Red Wings. Detroit is hot as a pistol right now. Stars up 3-2 late in the game, but Larkin ties it up off a cheeky between-the-legs surprise pass. How about that gift for Christmas? And the best part was he wasn't done there. He comes back for seconds in OT. Toe drag rip. The Red Wings are a wagon. 3 in a row, 8-2 in their last 10. The captain is leading from the front, and they sit on top of the Atlantic. Next up, Rangers and Capitals. Igor Shesterkin almost makes one of the best saves of the year. Feeling glovely he was, but it was determined that the puck crossed the line by a chin hair, so this one ends up counting. Unfortunate. Meanwhile, Ovi, at 40 years old, probably chugging eggnog and chasing with beers in the pregame, is out here still crushing guys. Love to see that, but the Rangers come out of nowhere in the third to score 5 straight and win the game 7-3. Speaking of 5 goals in the third, let's go to Carolina, where they have not been able to hold a lead if their lives depended on it. Up 2-0 heading into the third, the Panthers explode for 5 goals in 12 minutes to come back and win 5-2. Florida goes another month letting Carolina know that rent is going to be free this month, living inside their head. Panthers, by the way, go into the break red hot, being 8-2 in their last 10. Moving on to the Islanders and Devils, Jacob Markstrom, buddy. Guy is way outside of the crease, and he becomes Tuesday's pizza delivery man, hot and ready right to Holmstrom. The Islanders win 2-1, and that is the game winner. Oof. Doesn't even matter that Jack Hughes is back. You can't win games like that. Markstrom owes the boys beers after that one. Now, I've been doing these recaps for 2 years now, and I've been waiting for the day where I get to do 2 full weeks of these reviews where the Sabres haven't lost a game in either of them. It still hasn't happened yet, but if they beat the Sens, by God, we got our Christmas miracle. So this one was back and forth, trading goals until we're tied at 2 in OT, and then Bowen Byram, 1 knee clapper, pose for the hockey card, ship it to Nunna as a gift. Who cares that he whiffed? It finds a way into the net, and the Sabres win their 7th game in a row, for the first time in 7 years. Despite this win streak, they are still 7th in the Atlantic, but 7-7-7 is a good omen. I don't care if I'm delusional. If it gets the Sabres in the dance, I'll be happy. Then the best rivalry in hockey is back. Bruins and Canadiens, and we get potentially the fight of the year in Boston. Zadorov and Jack both say, yeah, we're going here. They skate all the way to center ice and throw the fist for around a solid 30 seconds. Boston loves it, but they don't love getting smacked around by Montreal on the scoreboard. Jacob Fowler had a solid 26-save performance as the Habs beat Boston 6-2. Over in Minnesota, watch this. I love it. Matt Zuccarello, 5'7" on a good day, gets shoved by 6'6" Michael McCarron. He says, you don't touch the Zook, and he just starts chopping lumber. Wham! Nice two-hander. Learned that one from my boy Phil Kessel and John Scott a few years ago. But really, this game showed us firsthand that we're in the midst of the resurgence of the Nashville Predators, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, pick up Steven Stamkos in your fantasy leagues. He's on fire, 7 goals in his last 7 games. He gets the OT winner. Guy has been so clutch lately. That is his 3rd consecutive game-winning goal. After all the shit Nashville went through at the beginning of the year, they didn't even wait to get their U2 trip to the Sphere canceled to go on a run. They just did it anyways and are back in the playoff race. Oh, and if for whatever reason they go back to sucking and Stamkos goes a bit cold again, just hold on to him in fantasy for when he gets traded to a contender. Just a tip. Of course, all this seems trivial to the Colorado Avalanche. The class of the league shows that they can play any game, and tonight it was a defensive and goaltending clinic. Scotty Wedgwood recorded a 32-save shutout. That is some good stuff. If you can believe it, Colorado enters the Christmas break with just 2 regulation losses total. Ridiculous. Now, Christmas came early for the Flyers. They get their 2 gimme points against the Blackhawks, who have just completely withered away without Bedard. 6 straight losses, back to the basement of the league. It is a damn shame that such a promising start has now become another year of embracing the tank, but hey, at least Bedard will get some more help in the future. Meanwhile, Sharks and Golden Knights was over before anyone even broke a sweat. Vegas scored 5 goals in the first period. Both teams just probably started boozing halfway through the game early to get a jump on the Christmas break. Vegas ended up scoring a touchdown. Marner gets 2 goals thanks to Toronto, and Vegas keeps on humming. Can't say the same for either the Kings or Kraken. Both teams are riding the struggle bus, but Joey Daccord, 35 of 37 stops. World Junior legend Jordan Eberle scores again. Kraken win 3-2 to just suck a little less tonight compared to LA. Finally, we finish off with a classic Battle of Alberta. The McDry combination is on another planet right now. It's 3-1 Oilers. McDavid already has 3 assists. Draisaitl has a pair, and the Oilers go on the power play again just to play with their food. Draisaitl gets the hat trick. McJesus finishes the night with 5 assists. The Oilers are on fire to finish before the break, and McDavid is now firmly leading the league in points with 67, and 31 of those points have come in his last 11 games. My Be a Pro character is put to shame by those kinds of numbers. We are seriously witnessing something special here each and every night that McDavid steps on the ice. Of course, the Battle of Alberta had to end with some fireworks. Everything seems normal here, just a little chit-chat. Then Lomberg comes in and cross-checks Nurse, and all of a sudden, we end up with everyone in a dog pile at the end of the game. Best sport on earth. These guys play each other again on Saturday, and I expect fireworks after this one. Now, with it being Christmas, the NHL had 3 days off. Yeah, that's right. No hockey on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. So Saturday, we jump right back in with 14 games on deck, so let's fire it up. First up, we got the Rangers and Islanders Battle of New York. Anders Lee says, let's not waste time here, fellas. He scores in the first minute, and that would be all the scoring there was. Rangers came painfully close to tying it, but they hit the double doink off the bar. Rangers get shut out for the 8th time this season. That's no bueno. Then we go to the Battle of Florida. Pure hate between these two teams. The league actually warned both of these teams apparently before the game, but yeah, they don't give a shit. Early on, we got Cunnin and Douglas dropping the gloves, couple rights and a couple lefts to follow the Christmas turkey. Kucherov was out here buzzing too. 2 goals in this one, and the end of the second, things start going off the rails here. Everyone on the ice decides to get in the mix, so that leads to about 5 guys in the penalty box for both teams. There you go, just like beer league when someone runs the tendy. Rough stuff didn't end there, though. Mikola catches Scott Sabourin up high, and then the wires cross. He goes right after him, gives him a 2-hander, chopping down the tree. Looks like a few people went to the school of Phil Kessel this week. Both teams set a season high for penalty minutes with 136 in this one. Not bad for a Saturday night. Tampa does take it, though, 4-2. On to the Caps versus Devils, where Alex Ovechkin is riding a 9-game goalless streak. He taps one in and sellies like it's the first of his career. Gotta love it. When you eat, sleep, and breathe breathe goals like Ovi. It is like oxygen for him to put one in the back of the net. That is goal number 912 of his career. This one goes to OT where Jacob Chikrin says enough is enough. The guy's making himself a really strong case right now to make Team Canada. He leads all NHL defensemen this year with 15 goals on the season. That is really hard to ignore for Canada if they're looking for a 7th or 8th defenseman. Let's go to the Jets and Wild, and we got some controversy in this one. Watch Josh Morrissey here get buried from behind. There's no call, so that pisses off Dylan DeMello. So he cross-checks Eriksson Ek in front of the net and takes a penalty with 30 seconds left. So the fact that that gets called has already got Winnipeg all fired up, and then on top of that, on the power play with 30 seconds left, Mats the Rat Zuccarello rips one home to tie it with 20 seconds remaining, and the nightmares continue for Winnipeg in OT. We got Kaprizov to Hughes to Boldy, tic-tac-toe, Remy Faso. That's the game. All three franchise cornerstones get in on the goal, and that goal alone has got Wild fans completely horned up. The stat sheet helps with that too. Boldy had 2 goals. The Carillion there had a goal and 2 assists, and Quinn Hughes had a trio of assists himself. The Wild keep rolling while the Jets have lost 8 of their last 9 games. Afterwards, Coach Scott Arniel let the refs have it in post-game, saying that the non-call on Morrissey was absolutely horrible and called the penalty on DeMello ticky-tacky. Yeah, that may earn him a phone call from Gary telling him to relax a little bit on the stripes. Either way, the Jets look like they're in trouble. The 24-25 President Trophy champs look nowhere close to the team that they were last season. Now in Carolina, I wouldn't be surprised if over the break, Coach Ron Brindamore slapped the hell out of every guy in the room to tell him to wake up when holding on to a lead. They got a pretty hot Red Wings team coming into the game and on the ropes, 3-2 in the third. They hold on to this one though for a 5-2 win while snapping a mini 3-game losing streak. Another win for the best name in sports as well in between the pipes and Brandon Bussey. Then we get to see if the Sabres wagon continues. 7 wins in a row coming into this one against the Boston Bruins. And it's the unsung heroes in Buffalo stepping up, and Matthias Samuelsson. You might be thinking, who the hell is that? Well, guess what? He's the 6'4" left-handed D-man who stepped right up and had a 3-point game with Rasmus Dahlin, the captain, missing this one. Also, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, UPL, same-day delivery, shipped another unbelievable performance in this one, stopping 21 of 22. Sabres, if you can believe it or not, win their 8th game in a row. Ladies and gentlemen, the streets are saying the Sabres are back, and I absolutely love it. Side note here is Boston has lost their 5th game in a row after a pretty good start to the season. This slump has them tumbling down the Eastern Conference standings, and where they are now is about where everyone expected them to be prior to the season. On to the Battle of Ontario. Sens in Toronto, and it was looking like a blowout because the Leafs were firing on all cylinders. Nylander scores, Nye scores, even Matthews, big 3-point night. They also scored 2 power play goals, which is rare to get a 5-2 lead, but because it's the Leafs, they almost blew it, but they managed to hold on to win 7-5. And then look at this after the Leaf win. Troy Stetcher is trying to fire up the crowd at the end of the game. The man is going to tear a rotator cuff. He's so fired up. I love it. He was probably the loudest guy in the arena there, too. That's 2 wins in a row for the Leafs. They're still in the bottom of the Atlantic, but who cares? Plan the parade. Hockey's also a funny sport, too, because a team like the Blackhawks, who are basically playing for the lottery right now without Bedard and Nazar, find a way to beat Dallas. Of course, they did get some help from Dallas themselves. Watch Rantanen coming in. Whoop, oh, puck bounces over the stick. No shot for you, pal. Sometimes that's just the way she goes. Chicago snaps their 6-game losing streak with a little bit of lady luck there in the shootout. It also turns out the Blues are doing what they do every year by fooling absolutely all of us. They beat the Preds 3-2 and are all of a sudden 1 point back of a wild card spot despite winning just 15 of 39 total games. They're slowly coming around to their game, but it also helps that the West is complete garbaggio here. It's a clear hierarchy. There's the big dogs at the top, and then the drop-off is pretty clear after that. Also, Joel Hofer picked up another win in this one. He's low-key taking over the starting job from Binnington a tiny bit here, which could be concerning if Binnington is named to Team Canada. Then it looked like the Anaheim Ducks did not get the memo that the break is over because the Kings score 4 goals in the first period. This one was over before it even started. Alex Laferriere gets a hattie in this one. Kings win 6-1. They needed that as they've struggled to find some consistency as of late. Then we got the rematch in the Battle of Alberta. Some more chirping and mind games in the warm-ups here, but that was all for show apparently. No tilts in this one, but the Flames almost put the clamps on McDavid. Of course, he scored a late one to extend his point streak to 12 games, but other than that, Calgary played a solid 60-minute game and held all of Oilers' big boys in check. Wolfpack Dustin Wolf was incredible as well. 29 saves and a 3-2 win. The Flames are 7-3 in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Macklin Celebrini show continues. He's a lock at this point for Team Canada. he returns to his hometown of Vancouver and has himself a game, a goal and an assist. Sharks win 6-3, and Celebrini is leading this team into a potential playoff conversation, which is nuts considering where they were last year. That win moves him back into the second wild card spot in the West. Finally, the big dogs go head-to-head. Vegas and Colorado. No team in the West, by the way, has beaten Colorado in regulation. That's hilarious. Vegas was up 4-2 heading into the third, but it's the damn Avs. Natchez gets one, McKinnon gets one, and down 5-4 with under 2 to go. These guys don't lose in regulation. We know this. Arturi Lehkonen in the bumper. She's all tied up. Then the Nate Dogg gets the shootout winner. 6 wins in a row. The Avs may be the best regular season team we've ever seen, but that doesn't guarantee a Stanley Cup. Just go ask the Boston Bruins. So, what did you think of Week 12? Who surprised you? Who pissed you off? Let us know in the comments down below. And as always, if you want to see more NHL content, we got these weekly recaps and breakdowns throughout the week. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss a single thing.